Hello, good night, everyone. Zach here. It's currently 1:14 in the morning here in Kentucky, and I'm having insomnia. As always, I cannot sleep early. I just keep doom scrolling, and then I somehow find myself being awake at like 3 a.m. in the morning. So I figured that maybe it's better for me to talk to a camera and then just trying to make how to say it, try to make my mind a lot clearer by talking out the things I'm thinking about in my head instead of containing them inside of my head and then just letting them explode and then you don't know how to handle with them. So one of the things I've been thinking about today when I do my icon corner over there, I just finished my decoupage icon corner with three icons of the Christ Emmanuel, of the Theotokos, the Panagia of Spati, and the Feast of Circumcision of Christ, and also Feast of Saint Basil, which is my family Slava that I adopted. So about the third icon, about the Feast of Circumcision, I've been thinking about how do you determine what is your family's patron saint? That's a question I'm trying to explore today. How do you determine? How do you determine whether what kind of saint would be your family's patron saint in the Orthodox tradition, especially in Serbia? I think it's only in Serbia. Serbian Orthodox Church has a feast called Slava, which is celebrated each year on different dates depending on the family, the lineage, by Serbians to commemorate the day that their first ancestors were baptized to become Christian. And the feast day on which their ancestors were first baptized is adopted as the sort of like the commemorated feast day for the entire family. For example, if your ancestors were baptized on the feast of Saint Nicholas, then you are, well, it's your Slava, your family's patronal feast is going to be the feast of Saint Nicholas. It's going to be passed down from male line, from father to son, and keep going on for 1,000 years. Ever since the Serbs started to adopt Christianity in like 870 AD, if I remember correctly, and until the time of Saint Sava, who introduced the practice, and up until now, we still do. Yeah, so about that, I've been thinking, but I think people with English surname, people with Western surname can very well adopt this practice and have their own Slava depending on your surnames or your family background. So what I'm thinking about here is this. So for example, if let's take the most common surnames in America out of this list, and to go throughout them and see which saints can be a patron. So first of all, very simply, patronymic surname, indicating that you're the son of somebody, one very notable ancestor in your past, who is designated as the apex ancestor, the one from which all the other descendants stem from, and they adopt his name as their surname. So for example, if you have a very notable ancestor named John, so you have the surname Johnson, Jackson, I think there's a lot more, Johnson, Jackson, Johnson, I don't know, but all those surnames stem from the name John. And in that case, for patronymic, it's very simple. You just adopt the name of your ancestor as the name of your patron saint. So if you are Johnson, then your patron saint is going to be either Saint John the Baptist or Saint John the Evangelist or some other Saint John that you and your family like to pick. And in the case of, for example, Anderson is the son of Andrew, mostly coming from Scotland. In that case, your patron saint is going to be obviously Saint Andrew, one of the 12 apostles of Christ, because, well, it's very clear that your ancestors had a very the most notable ancestor, the one from which all of the cousins, siblings stem from, the descendants stem from, have decided to adopt the surname Andrew in honor of that one ancestor whose name was Andrew. So patronymic surname, very simple. Just pick the saint who is the name of your first ancestor to convert to Christianity. Johnson, Saint John. Andrew, Saint Andrew. Let's see someone else. George, like Thompson, Saint Thomas, Jameson, Saint James maybe. Let's see, Markson. I don't think there's Markson, but yeah, Marcus or something like that. Saint Mark, Peterson, Saint Peter. It's very simple. Okay, second case is less clear. It's the trading surname. If your family occupational surname, if your family has a trade in the past that's very notable of your family, they're gonna adopt it as their surname. For example, if your families were very prominent blacksmiths of a village back in the days, then you're gonna adopt the surname Smith. If your families were very much proficiently skilled in like milling, which is grinding wheat to create flour, so you're gonna adopt the surname Miller. So in that case, you just have to find the saying that is most correlated, who's the patron saint of your specific occupation. Choose that saying and let them be your family's patron saint. So, for example, in the case of, let me see here. I know for sure that for example, Saint Clement, the third Pope of Rome, I believe, a fourth, he was. The Romans tie like a one of those things. What is it called? They tie a oh my goodness, I forgot the name of that. The things I often use in ships. The bow, I don't know. Anchor. Yeah, they tie an anchor around Saint Clement's neck, and then they throw him into the sea for him to drown. Because of that, he's a patron saint of sailor. So if your family's surname in the past were sailors, or maybe seamen, or something like that, or just adopt Saint Clement as your family's patron saint. Another thing is okay, so last one is occupational, habitational surname, depending on where you live. So if your families were from, for example, Birmingham, they're gonna adopt the surname Birmingham, which means the place where Birmingham lives, I guess. Ham, yeah. So I'm not so sure about habitational surname. You're gonna have to find the most ancient, like the patron saint of your specific village, city, or town where your ancestor came from, and then just adopt that patron saint, or like maybe the oldest church in your town has a saint, and that saint is gonna be designated as the patron saint of your entire village or town, and then just choose that saint to be your patron saint. So those are all the cases that I've laid out before, so that you can go through them, and then try to find a saint who can be your family's patron saint. In my case, I'm really into genealogy, so I've been able to find out a lot more about my ancestors and also about family history in general. And because of that, thanks to that, I was able to find out details that link my family, both paternal and maternal side, to the same paternal feast, on the feast of circumcision of Christ on January 1st each year, or maybe January 15th. You follow the Gregorian calendar and also the Roman Catholic calendar, since I'm converting to Orthodoxy. Obviously, I'm going to be using the Orthodox calendar instead, and the feast is always falling on January 1st, which is also on the feast of Saint Basil, the great liturgist, who I think he drafted the liturgy of Saint Basil alongside with the liturgy of Saint Chrysostom, which are the two foremost and most often used liturgy in the entire Orthodox Church around the world. So it's very, very, very significant. My family Slava falls on the feast of our Lord's circumcision, and also on the feast of Saint Basil. Another thing is that on the icons of the feast of circumcision, it's often depicted that the person who is circumcising Christ, who's holding the scalpel to circumcise Christ, the designated mohel in Hebrew, is often depicted as being Saint Zacharias in Eastern Orthodox iconography. So Saint Zacharias, for those of you who knows, in the Gospel of Saint Luke, he was the father of Saint John the Baptist, the last prophet of the entire Bible before Christ came. And Saint Zacharias, or righteous Zacharias the priest, as he's often called, he received the word of the angel inside the temple when he was his lineage turn to go and serve in the temple and save the people. And he didn't believe that he was going to have a son, so he was blinded. No, he was not blind. He was muted. He was muted by the angel, not being able to speak for 9 months until June. So he entered the temple around September, and then he exited the temple. And then his son was born in Saint John the Baptist was born in June 24th to be exact. So on that day, he was able to speak again, and he wrote out the name of his son, John, and he named him. And after that, he sang a song of praising to the Lord, Benedictus Domine. And then after that, when John grew up, King Herod ordered all the children in Judea to be massacred, because he was afraid that somebody's going to steal his throne. So John, his mother Elizabeth, went to hide in the desert, and Saint Zacharias at the time was a priest, and he was offering the temple. King Herod's soldiers came, and then he didn't want to reveal the location of his son. He protected his family, and then he was killed on the spot on the temple ground. So Saint Zacharias, he's often depicted as the Mohel, or the circumciser of Christ, because he is also a very close family member of a lower Christ member. Because Christ's mother, obviously, the Theotokos, is the daughter of Saint Anne, and from what I know, I think Saint Anne is the sister of the mother of Saint Elizabeth. So Saint Elizabeth and the Theotokos are second cousins to one another. Maybe first cousin, same cousin, I forgot. They're very close family members. So Saint Zacharias is also like a brother-in-law, a cousin-in-law to the Theotokos and Saint Joseph the betrothed. So I decided to adopt Saint Zacharias as my patron saint. Right now I haven't been baptized yet, but actually I don't need to, because I was baptized in the Catholic Church. So they use the Trinitarian baptism method, so I guess that will also count as being valid. Maybe not in the roll call, but maybe in the Greek Orthodox Church, because it varies around all the places. But yeah, in that case, I haven't been chrismated yet, so I cannot really go for certain that I'm gonna choose Saint Zacharias as my patron saint, to say so certainly. But at least I know that Saint Zacharias is gonna be my protector throughout this whole journey, because his icon is literally on my wall right now. And I deliberately only choose 3 icons because I don't have enough money to buy a commissioned icon, so I just bought some Mod Podge from Walmart, and then some brushes, and then wax colors, acrylic color sealer, and all of that, and then bring them home and do a decoupage sort of like project where I paint I stick amounts the linen paper of the icons onto wood, and then just hang them on my wall right now. So I have a small icon corner, very small, but still better than nothing. Also, I'm intending to get my Orthodox prayer book tomorrow. Once I go to storage, I'm gonna get my prayer book, and then I'm gonna be starting to pray from tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a very hard weeks because I really have nothing to do at all. It's a very disheartening fact that sometimes when you don't have anything to do, you start to turn yourself into like a sedentary object. Which is what I'm doing right now, and I'm trying my best to avoid doing that by talking, and then by maybe doing something that would keep my mind awake instead of investing my mind in all the the very, very insane things that keeps happening around the world right now. So yeah, let's see what else. There's also there's a Slava, there's Saint Zacharias, who's now my patron saint, I would say. Let's see. There's the maybe that's not something to be considered. Oh yeah, also I received some contact from the local Orthodox Church, Orthodox mission that I'm following, and the head priest, I think, of that church is contacting me saying that we can talk things out to see what are the options that you have in order to go to church to attend a divine liturgy, because I don't have a car, and I don't really cannot drive 6 hours by bike from my city to the church in order to attend the liturgy on Sunday and like on catechism, because I also need to attend catechism class as a catechumen in order to receive baptism and also chrismation. You have to observe that in order to be able to do all these things. So it's really insane that I'm just really glad that I was able to talk to the priests and we were able to sort things out a day in time to meet and talk about this. There's a lot of disturbing things happening right now on the internet everywhere that you go. I guess I'm just gonna have to say that just be safe out there. Maybe don't dabble too much in the internet, because from what I see right now, it's really destroying lots of minds, and also the way it's changing drastically the way that people nowadays live. And I just can't think of a thing that really still makes me feel like I was in 10 years ago anymore. Everything 10 years ago was so peaceful. It was so time was back then was good, but then right now it's just things are falling apart. Ever since I moved here to America, lots of things have happened, and it's just I don't know what to say. Things happen, politics. I don't want to dabble into that much, and also just everything I'm seeing every day. And I just discovered that the bottle, my Lay's bottle, have Hebrew on it. So here's the Pringles that I bought, and then at the instruction, like the ingredients thing, there's like a bunch of Hebrew lines on it. Let me read it. Kosher, Chalevi, Le'okli, Avgat, Cholev, Nachori. Something about kosher. Maybe Pringles is kosher? I don't know. Let's see what else. About other places I've been to this time. So I've gone to let's see, Japan. I've gone to Mexico. I've gone to the United States of America. So far I've visited 3 countries. Also counting my hometown, Vietnam, home nation. Got me 4 countries. I really want to go to what is it called? Oh yes, Lisbon in the future, to do some investigation to the project that I'm having, and maybe it's also to Greece because I'm converting to Orthodoxy, and also to Serbia. I really love to go to Serbia, see how Slava is observed there, and also learn more about Serbian Orthodoxy. It's very fascinating, to be honest. I don't think there's anything else I can say. It's just another normal day for me. Nothing to do, sleeping late, waking up late. I don't feel like I'm living anymore. More like I'm dying, and then there's like a shell. There's like something within me that is, I'm just functioning, not living, but functioning, trying to get through all this. I don't know what to do. Okay. What is that? I see something on my beard. Oh, I'm growing so much now that I even have a beard. Can't believe it. I've grown so much now that I have a beard. And that's just amazing to see. How do you have a beard? Just like that, wearing thin and all that. Let's see, anything else? If you are maybe part of the Orthodox Church, maybe not. Oh well, thank you so much for watching. Wish you a a good night, and yeah, wish all the best thing happen to you. God bless. All is done in Christ. Glory be to Christ our Lord. Thank you for watching. It's been Zach.